Glad to have you in with us on NEA Report. It's Stan Morris reporting along with you live today as we are covering a story in relation to Mark Tree. It's a story that we actually broke first yesterday on NEA Report, but it's a story I've been working on for several days. As a matter of fact, dating back to last week was when I first started getting some tips about this. And so we wanted to come at you live with a special edition of today's show, talk about this case. If you have questions in the chat, ask them. And I'm going to try to answer those, at least to the best of my knowledge, if I have answers to those. And we'll also hopefully be able to shed a little bit more information that we've not been able to report yet that's been out there. Apologies for coming at you late today. It's a little bit of a different format for the show because, frankly, I've been working today. For those of you who don't know, I own rental houses, and sometimes you got to get those things repaired. So today we're doing the news thing a little bit differently, but that's okay. The Mark Tree High School principal has resigned. If you didn't know that already, this is probably a little bit of a surprise to you, but you probably have heard about it by now. The story we posted yesterday on NEA Report shared about 100 times so far and viewed several thousand times so far as well. In fact, KIT picked up on it today about 3 hours ago. Finally, they were able to get the story confirmed too, but they were only able to confirm what we told you about yesterday, which is that the Mark Tree High School principal is now no longer employed by Mark Tree Public Schools. This happened, as a matter of fact, because there was an investigation that was going on into her conduct. The investigation was launched just a few days before that the Mark Tree High School principal resigned. I had an interview with the superintendent. By the way, I just want to give him credit because he gave me a lot of information. He was very forthcoming with his answers. And I know there's a lot of stuff that he couldn't say, but I think he went further than he had to. So points to Superintendent Matt Wright for credit. Let's talk about the conversation that he and I had, however, because I want you all to know a little bit more about this case. See, let's run through the statement first that he said. It's at neareport.com. He said that the Mark Tree High School principal, Kimberly Smith, resigned on August 23rd. Right? That was less than a week, he said, after that the school had opened an investigation for the purpose of, quote, investigating conduct. Right now, it says, is not the time to disclose other information. That was what he told me. He said that he's trying to find out from the attorneys if he can disclose more to me. Of course, as a reporter, the first thing that I wanted to do was request records for personnel files, disciplinary records for the principal. But if a public official resigns, in Arkansas at least, it makes those records sealed. It's a safe way to exit, so to speak, without the press having access to a lot of the perhaps incidents that would have gave us more information about this, or there may not have been anything in there at all, to be quite honest. But I point that out because a lot of times you'll see investigations into officers and they'll resign instead of being fired. Well, that's the reason why. It blocks off the press from getting access to personnel files. Generally speaking, we don't see that as often from instructors in an educational system, but the rules still apply for employees of the state. They're all the same. So we don't have access and probably won't have access to our personnel files. So how do we know what happened? Well, we take sources and we do a little bit of investigating and we find out what we can. So I'm going to tell you more than you've learned about if you stay with me in the live stream. I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that we're hearing and tell you some of the stuff that's not been confirmed yet. We'll get to that in just a bit. First up, though, I want to point out that Kimberly Smith, she had been with the school for a long time. Been there since August 2002 and had been the principal since August 2017 for about 1 year before this incident took place. It was in the weeks leading up to that, especially last week, that we started getting a ton of messages of something unusual having happened. All of the messages indicated that there was something involving the high school principal and this is the first time you're going to hear this reported anywhere, but these are still rumors. This is unconfirmed as of now, and I want to point that out. I'm going to tell you if we have confirmed something or if we're hearing this from a number of people. Well, I've heard this from about 20 people so far, including some pretty reliable sources, but I've not been able to get it confirmed on the record, and I probably never will. The reports, the rumors, and all of the tips that we were getting sent to us were that the involvement involved a Mark Tree officer, perhaps a school resource officer, and the principal. I point that out because in a case where you hear investigating conduct, a lot of folks instantly worry about this conduct involving a student, and there are no indicators of that, pointing that out for fact's sake. And I bring that up also because if you Google search Mark Tree High School and misconduct, one of the first things that shows up is a couple-year-old article from Fox News Channel, big Fox News Channel, and it's talking about misconduct with a teacher and students. That is old news, nothing to do with this, but I bring that up because that might be where a lot of people's minds go as they start to wonder, what is this misconduct that we're not hearing anything about? We're never going to know. Well, it was based on all the rumors and the tips, and we're talking about inside the school, inside law enforcement tips, but that are sent to me anonymously because nobody wants to lose their job. People are saying Mark Tree officer. Putting that out there for everybody to know. Now, I know a lot of folks are in the live stream, and hello to everybody that's saying hi to me. I don't know what I've done to deserve that, but I appreciate all of you being kind and joining us on NEA Report today as we're trying our best to inform you a little bit more about a story that there's not a lot of information out there yet, and may not be a lot of information either. When I talked to the superintendent yesterday, I asked him, hey, I want to find out a little bit more about this, and are you maybe going to be able to tell me more, tell me about the investigation, tell me what was found? He said that he had to check with the attorneys for the school before that they could do that, and he was very kind about that. That's not a confrontational thing. He just has to be certain that he doesn't violate somebody's potential rights by releasing stuff to the press he should not. So we don't know that we're going to get that. I don't, based on the law enforcement contacts I've made, the reach out efforts that I've made to law enforcement agencies, nothing about this internal investigation was turned over to police, which would indicate they're probably, or at least if it has been, we don't know. We haven't been able to find that. And I have pretty good contacts across Poinsett County. So if that's the case, that means nothing criminal will probably ever come of this. And if that's the case, then we'll probably never hear any confirmation from this point forward about what took place. But what we do know is that it was last week that the principal resigned on August 23rd. It was last Thursday, so 2 days away from being a week ago exactly, as I record this or broadcast it live to you guys here this afternoon on Tuesday, August 28th at 3:53 p.m. But as I also mentioned, they're going to be going through the administrative process of hiring a replacement. That takes a little bit longer because it's going to be already in the middle of the school year, and it's tough to really make that hiring happen as quickly as you would whenever the school year resets normally. As far as, though, difficulties, I mean, it's going to make a difficult process a little bit for Mark Tree High School. As mentioned, they got to replace their principal in the middle of a beginning of a school year, but at the same time, they have implemented, according to the superintendent, an administrative plan, at least until the new principal is hired. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't know in this case, a lot. We don't know, and probably never will, the official reason why that the investigation was launched into conduct. Of course, what I just told you gives us the closest indicator as far as what that truth might be. One thing I do whenever people share stories on NEA Report is I look to see if students or teachers or others share and give a little bit more information. And there were some references to videos. But I just got to tell you, I've not been able to find anything in reference to that. So if you have something out there, evidence-wise, digital evidence-wise, and you want to help us investigate this more, send it to NEA Report, send it to the page, and we'll do what we can to, factually report, confirm if we can, and bring that along. But that being the case, there were other rumors, and none that we've been able to feel comfortable at least even touching on in a live broadcast, just because that's what there is right now. Not a lot. Not a lot of confirmed information. There's a lot of scuttlebutt. That's another term for rumors and talk and gossip. But it's tough to really find out the truth sometimes. The truth, however, is that their high school principal is out. She resigned after an investigation was launched into her conduct. And as far as anything else goes, we don't know much else. We do know that the conduct was not said to involve inappropriate actions with a student. The conduct was said to involve, based on rumors, an adult. But we still don't even have that confirmed. Just trying my best to keep the information that's out there at least somewhat tempered, right, based on what we know, instead of letting people's imaginations get away. So there's a lot about this story that still could be covered, and we hope to be able to cover more of it as we move forward. Of course, we need more information. So if you're out there and you're a good source on this, you're close to this, or you know more about this, contact NEA Report. Let us know what you know, and we want to let the public know. We'll go through the vetting process, and we'll try to make sure all the sources and all the facts do line up. Even if we haven't been able to confirm them officially, we still try to vet them as much as we can to, only tell you what is the most credible for the moment. That being the case, when you start going with anonymous sources, sometimes things can be inaccurate or wrong. That's why we haven't been able to say a whole lot about this. In fact, last week, I had most of what I know already. It's just it was anonymously, and I couldn't touch on that yet until we got it officially on the record. So that's a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at how the process goes. But I can tell you I'm going to be looking at this case a lot over the next few days and weeks. We want to let you know what happened on this, just because it's interesting. We know a lot of people out there are interested in watching it, and so we want to let you know what we find out. All right, so it's, what do we got here? About 3.5 minutes before 4 o'clock. If you stand by, I'm going to talk some more after I play 2 commercial breaks because I got to pay some bills. Hold on, everybody. This is NEA Report.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
It's New Wave Wireless weather forecast time. Home of the $49 iPhone screen repair, one of our great sponsors here on NEA Report that we greatly appreciate and hope that you guys might give them a little love too. Going to be seeing temperatures down to 75 tonight, up to 89 tomorrow with chances for thunderstorms to start rolling in. A 50% chance to see those. Look for the high tomorrow, be a little bit cooler, 89, 85 on Thursday, and then you got 88 by Friday with a few chances for thunderstorms, just about a 30% chance at that. Right now, though, temperatures in Jonesboro sitting around 89 degrees or right around 90 depending on where you're at in town. It's warm, but it's pretty outside. Would you agree? I hope you would agree. I think it's pretty anyway. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on NEA Report. We're glad to have you in with us. So let's talk about some crime that happened in Jonesboro. I'm showing you video that we got on NEA Report yesterday of this incident that happened Sunday morning. Remember this? We told you about this on Monday. In fact, I think I posted the story first Monday morning. Not that I'm, in a contest, but it was that a man had been robbed at gunpoint while delivering newspapers, and I shared the story from his wife. This was before the police report was even written. You could see the video actually on the right side of your screen. This guy's trying to earn an honest living. He delivers newspapers. It's an industry we can respect, one I've worked in before. And the guy was making his deliveries on the most popular day to get a newspaper. It is Sunday. That's when the paper's the biggest. And he was dropping those papers off at Exxon on Main Street and Johnson, right at the corner there. And so he's doing this, and I want to show you guys this stuff, and I'm showing you this video. I'm actually going to see if I can take it full screen for a moment, because I want to show you, and watch my mouse pointer on the screen. Let's move my name bar down. Are you watching? Watch this car right here. In the upper left corner, if you see it, this car turns left. That white car is then going to turn into this gas station and rob this man. And I'm bringing this stuff up because as I've watched the video a number of times, I've tried and tried and tried to come up with any new evidence that I can locate or find. You can see the car pulling around there. It pulls in. It looks like it might be, and I don't know if this is right, it looks like it might be a Lexus. This guy gets out right here. He comes around. He looks like he's 13 or 14. He's tiny. And then he opens the door, and this guy walks around the victim. But look at what's in his hand. Do you see it? You can see the light shining off of it, and I'm pointing the mouse at it right there. The suspect, is holding a gun, and he's sticking it in an innocent man's face. This is unbelievable. Absolutely no excuse for this whatsoever, and yet it continues to happen in Jonesboro. He's still got the gun in his face right there. You could see it. He's aiming it directly at him. The driver's terrified, doesn't know what to do. Does he let them take his vehicle and his livelihood? What does he do? Thankfully, this did not end in physical violence. Although the charges don't really differentiate much, because if these guys are arrested and convicted, they're going to face the same charges as if they had done something to the guy. Aggravated assault, minimum, armed robbery, and several other charges too. They speed off. You can see them moving off into the upper left part of the corner, and then they use their turn signal. How about that? They head off back toward Johnson, away from where they came, the direction from whence they came. Maybe that's an idea of where they live, right? Maybe that's an idea of the direction that they were in. Dylan mentioned it could be an Infiniti G37. Yeah, that actually quite possibly may be. But before I go back, I want to show you what was probably one of the harder parts of this video to watch. It's the victim trying to flag down help and nobody caring. People just continuing on about their lives. That's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. The things people care about, and then the things people don't care about, very difficult to reckon with sometimes. As he continues to try to flag down help to no avail, I'm going to go back just a minute because Dylan mentioned that it could be an Infiniti G37. Lindsay mentioned there's only 4 people in Jonesboro that use their blinker, so you might be able to narrow it down from that. Ain't that the truth? This car is a white car, but I don't think that's the same car driving by, is it? It's hard to say. Just going back up here, though, because I want to look and see the direction that that car had come from. And just show you all that one more time, because you can see that car coming from this direction. It's coming from down Johnson in the direction that would be basically where this is at, toward the campus. They're at Johnson and Main Street right now. The car turns in, it's coming from the campus direction, and it pulls in here. And then whenever they leave, you can see he's going back in that direction, right? Is that an indicator of where he's going home? Maybe? Surely. Or maybe it's not. It's tough to say. I wish we had more about what this dude was wearing besides his ball cap on sideways. He looks like he weighs about 100 pounds. He's tiny. This suspect over here on the lower right. In fact, let's do a little zoom in action, see if we can get a better look at him. How's that sound, folks? We'll use our live studio software here to get a close-up view of him. In fact, let's just take it full screen. Get me off the screen for a minute. And watch the suspect act right there. I'm not sure if he's dabbing, like why he's got his arm half crossed. Watch him. He's got his arm half crossed. See right there? It's like he starts to dab or something in the middle of it. Just unbelievable. He's wearing a white shirt with like red sleeves with black outlines around him. Looks like maybe a sports jersey or a shirt. Tough to really say. But he flies off of, flies away from the scene. Smoke billows out of the car. And then in the upper left corner, he flicks his turn signal on, of course, and he's headed back to wherever he came from. Maybe it's home or maybe somewhere else. There's not really an end game for stealing a vehicle and, you know, making any money off of it. Chances are they found what was in it and dumped it somewhere. But I don't have an update as far as if they got the vehicle back yet. And I don't have an update on any arrest in the case. But if you maybe possibly know something, gosh, if you could help Crime Stoppers out, that would be great. 870-935-STOP. 870-935-7867. If we can help get some criminals off of the street and, gosh, maybe save some lives. If you're going around robbing people at gunpoint, it ain't going to end well. Eventually, in this place, somebody's going to pull a gun back out, or somebody's going to call your bluff. People are crazy, and not just on the side of the robbers. I'm talking about in general. The last thing that you want to go around doing in Jonesboro, Arkansas, is pulling a gun on someone, because chances are you're going to pull it on someone that has a gun too at some point. But a seriously difficult situation to see unfold there, and I just hate watching somebody, especially knowing that he works in my industry, in the news industry, be a victim and waving and just getting no help. Gosh, I hate that. If you have any information about this, though, that might be able to help, please, 870-935-STOP. That's 935-7867. Maybe you have the information that could lead police to the criminal scum that enacted this terrible deed in the middle of Sunday morning in Jonesboro, putting a gun to a guy's face, getting out of that car right there. One of the suspects wearing a Nike shirt. Check this out. Let's do another zoom in on him, see if maybe this will help. One of the suspects right there in the blue shirt, he's wearing lugs or maybe some kind of work boots, faded jeans, dark faded jeans, no facial hair. He's got the Nike check mark on his shirt. The other guy looks like he's wearing some kind of soccer shirt or something like that, like a soccer outfit. That's, of course, that's the suspect closest to the headlight in the photo. That's also the guy that would have put the gun in someone else's face. So if you have any idea who these guys are, it's Jonesboro Police, 870-935-STOP. They most certainly could use those tips in this case for sure. It's 4:06 in Northeast Arkansas. I'm glad to have you in today. It's a bit of a busy day on the back end of things, news-wise, but on the front end, too, we've been trying to catch up on some stuff. This Mark Tree case, if you're just joining us today and you're wondering about that, we went through that case in detail, and once we finish our live stream, you can go back and watch the beginning of the story. But the gist of the story is that the Mark Tree High School principal resigned right after a conduct investigation was launched into her. She worked there since 2002, had taught there since 2002, but was the principal since August 2017, just about a year before all of this transpired. We don't have an official release as to what the conduct investigation was pertaining to, but our sources, both inside the school and in law enforcement, indicate that the conduct involved an adult, possibly a resource officer or a Mark Tree officer. That's just something we're not going to have a probably easy time confirming, just because she resigned. Her personnel files are now sealed based on Arkansas's questionable Freedom of Information Act law that allows that to take place, but also there's not going to likely be a release from a police agency or something confirming this. And then, of course, they're not going to come out and say it didn't happen either, because that would be just weird. So the case is probably one that's going to be difficult to find new info on, but if you have that, we want it. We want to see it. Send it to the NEA report page, and we'll certainly do what we can to bring it along to the folks. All right, let's take one final look at your weather forecast for today. It's New Wave Wireless that brings you this beauty every day. $49 iPhone screen repair, great service, good people, a local business. It's all at New Wave. Check it out, though. 89 right now. It's 75 for the low tonight. Tomorrow, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms, and it's going to be in the afternoon. Just a heads up for that. 60% chance to see in the afternoon, high around 89, 85 on Thursday, and another day with thunderstorms on the way. It looks like possible all day long. On Thursday, maybe half an inch possible then. Wednesday, a quarter of an inch. So we may see a little bit of localized flash flooding stuff that happens out and about, but hopefully things won't be too crazy over the next couple of days. We'll just keep a watch on those. Maybe some showers on Friday too, but not very likely. Just about a 30% chance to see those. As I mentioned, that's about 89 degrees right now, and we're glad to have you in with us wherever you're at. Thanks for watching NEA Report today. We're back tomorrow, I think, with more news from Northeast Arkansas. 3 p.m. every day is the time we try to go live unless things get crazy. And if things get crazy, then we might just go live anytime, or we might go live late, or we might just not. You never know. Thanks, everybody, though, for joining us. Thank you to all of our sponsors that are supporting NEA Report, and thank you for choosing to be informed with us. Now you're up to date.